しな。さすが小島秀夫。
未来を操ろうロボットシューティングゾーイプレイステーション2から。
次これやんない。やば。
プレイステーション。
Hello everybody, Jim here, and would you look at this, another dark and stormy night in the neighborhood of Akihabara, a place I frequent ever so much, and tonight we're going to do a lot of things that we're not going to put on camera, mind you, but first off, we're going to go look for some PS2 games at some various shops around town. Starting right here with Trader. PS2, a console, still pretty affordable to collect for. They're the outliers, the rare and expensive games. But for the most part, you can find stuff that's not too terribly expensive without much trouble. Here we have Shining Dragon. What is it? Is it Tkyo Sam? Is the name of the series? It's a 3D fighter, but it's kind of, it's, a little raunchy, as the show is. It features heavily lots of bouncing mammary glands, so there's quite a few of those in the game as well. Initial D special stage, a game with no boobs whatsoever, but plenty of cars though, so that's cool. It's $14.80, so like $10 for that game, which is a good deal. I actually really like that game. Initial D in general I like, but that's a good console port. And we have a whole lots of other stuff, Glay Lancer, and whatever the hell this might be. I'm getting into like an area where I don't particularly know what everything is. The Gregory Horror Show Soul Collector. I don't know what the hell that is. But there it is. And it's 6,000 yen or something. It's, yeah, not familiar with that at all. Grim Grimoire, which is pretty cool. I believe that's one of those vanillaware games, if I'm not mistaken, or at least it looks like it is. Here we have something especially cool. Gradius 5. Published by Konami, but developed by Treasure, as a matter of fact. And they did an amazing job. Gradius 5 is very good. Here we have a bunch of fighting games, a bunch of Neo Geo stuff. Lots of the Neo Geo fighters were re-released on the PS2. And so that is quite awesome. Also, we have Gradius 3 and 4 on the PS2, as well as Shikigami no Shiro, which Castle Shikigami is what I think it's called, right? That's a good one as well, top-down shooter. And we have all of these Taito Memories collections. These are pretty cool. They have all these, like you can see on the cover, just a ton of Taito arcade games in each one. Some of them more expensive than others because they have much more desirable games on them. One of them has what is it? It's one of the sequels to Rastan Saga, and it's awesome. Here we have the Sega Ages 2500 games, stuff like Golden Axe and Gunstar Heroes, Columns. Lots and lots of games were released as part of that series, and they're very cool because they'll feature the original arcade games and then these excellent updated versions. This one was Raizo Kuzunoa versus the Army of Darkness, or something like that. I think was like the English title. The game I played long ago and don't remember much about, other than it's a cool looking, I believe, Atlas title. And more Neo Geo stuff, including Mark of the Wolves, some Samurai Spirits, Real Bout Collection, all the Fatal Fury collections, and good stuff down here too, including Fate Unlimited Codes, and Melty Blood Actress Again, which is a really great, fast-paced, combo-heavy 2D fighter. I'd recommend picking it up. And then here we have some sumo action, 11,600 yen. So approaching $100 for this game, which I've never played. But it features those big, cuddly sumo wrestlers, so it can't be all bad. And this, another fairly expensive title, 11,800 yen for this ADK collection. And it's got some cool stuff in it. Aggressors of Dark Combat, Ninja Masters, and, very cool Twinkle Star sprites also included. But again, that's near 100 doll hairs. And that's not cheap for any game. But as we move along, Super Potato! We're magically whisked away to Super Potato. Yes, they are now Super Potato chips. So have some of that. Here we have some Samurai Spirits. $49.28. That's not cheap, but it does have all of those Samurai Spirits games in it. 6 games in a single collection, and all these games emulated well on the PS2, I find. They're very good conversions. Here's Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. Not a game I'm a huge fan of, for whatever reason. Like, it just doesn't... It's, we already have King of Fighters. We don't need to get more wacky with it, but we have these King of Fighters games, some King of Fighters collections, Spectral V... What am I looking at? Another fighting game for sure, 2D fighter that I don't believe I've ever played before. Spectral V Generation or Spectral Versus Generation. That's a new one to me, but it is quite pricey. Also some Kinnikuman. Some Muscle Men for you. Good stuff. And the Street Fighter 2, Hyper Street Fighter 2, and Dark Stalkers, the Vampire Collection, and the Hyper Street Fighter 2, which you don't really need anymore because you've got, you know, the Capcom Fighting Collection on Switch and PS4. Another copy of Melty Blood, $54.78 for that one. Goodness gracious, it's going up in price. It used to be like a $10 to $20 game, but it's getting up there. R-Type Final, good stuff. Dodon Pachi, Daiojo. Good stuff. If it says Dodon Pachi, you know it's good. I actually did a video recently where it was starting a PS2 collection in Super Potato for under $50. And these are the games I bypassed for sure, because some of them are quite expensive. Triggerheart X Celica, $76.70 something. Which a game I enjoyed immensely on the Dreamcast. I've never played the PS2 version though, but I can't imagine it being bad. And there's other cool stuff down here. There's Gunbird 1 and 2. Here's the Sengoku Ace game. So there's Sengoku Ace and Sengoku Blade. 2 great games, which you can also play those now on those Saikyo collections on the Switch and PS4. It's nice to have those. Thunder Force there, Thunder Force 6, I guess, and can't pass this up. Strikers 1945, 1 and 2, which Strikers 2, maybe my favorite Saikyo shooter. It's really, really good. And more of those Taito collections. I had gotten asked in when I did the starting PS2 collection for under $50, they were like, "What? No shoot 'em ups?" And I was like, no, we're trying to do this on a budget. And the shoot 'em ups, as you can see, are not cheap. They never are, really. We've got some good stuff here, more Sega Ages 25, and this Akumajo Dracula, which I think is the arcade game. They put the arcade game in here, which is not a particularly good game. I don't think it's the Vampire Chronicles one. And for $40.48, Rockman, the Power Battle or Power Fighters. Again, those games I think available on some kind of Capcom collection. And these updated East games, East 1 and 2, East 3, East 4. I've still never played the PS2 versions. I've played all of these games on the PC Engine and enjoyed them quite a lot, and I still have yet to pick up the PS2 versions, but they do look quite good. I need to pick those up at some point. I did finish East Origins, and almost done with East 8. So some more East in my life, I think, will be a good thing. 1958 for Dragon Quest 8, which I think is a bit much, considering that game, any Dragon Quest game, you know, is going to sell a ton of copies. There's PS2 Dragon Quest V, which is good. Dragon Quest V is an excellent entry into the series. Great character development, very story-driven. Hajime no Ippo, one of the Victorious Boxers games there. And it's 308 yen, so that's one that is super cheap, and it's pretty fun. It's not a great game by any means, but for less than $3, yeah, fine, go for it. It's good stuff. But now, where the hell are we? We're in Surugaya, and look at this wall of games. How are we ever gonna get through all this stuff? I think we're just gonna have to pick our shots. Starting with, hey, Cowboy Bebop, Serenade of Remembrance, 5,500. A pretty fun Cowboy Bebop action game. It's not bad. Graphics and sound are pretty good. Gameplay is okay. I actually reviewed that game a long time ago when I was not so accustomed to reviewing games. But I gave it a pretty positive review back then. Ultraman 2. Some of these Ultraman fighting games are okay, I guess. And then this is kind of fun. SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth. But here it's called SmackDown. It's Exciting Pro Wrestling is the name of the SmackDown series in Japan. They just call it Exciting Pro Wrestling. 3,100 for SVC Chaos. Another fine game, even though it's lacking kind of like gameplay modes and stuff like that. It's kind of basic, but still a decent fighter. You Shut Your Mouth. SmackDown. Down Smack. Shut You. Gunslinger Girl. There are actually a handful of Gunslinger Girl games on the PS2. Third-person action games, as you might expect. They're gunslinger girls. They need some guns to sling. And of course, if you're going to sling your gun, you're going to want to sling it at somebody. And here, a pretty cool one as well. 5,800 Akira Psycho Ball. Yes! They made an Akira game for the PS2, and they decided to make it a video pinball game. I don't know. Come on now, if I was going to make an Akira game, I'd make, like an Akira, like Street Racer, Kaneda and the other biker gangs racing through the streets. Almost like a Road Rash kind of game. And another one of these Taito collections. These things are just everywhere. They're just popping out of the ground. And what else do we have here? There's plenty of stuff on these walls. This shelf is just loaded with games. Here's something interesting. Tough Dark Fight for 1,600. What the hell is Tough Dark Fight? I hear you asking. The answer to that question eludes me, because I don't know. I've never played that game. I don't know what the hell it is, but I thought that was kind of funny. Just like the most generic cover and just Tough Dark Fight. Like, who titled that? What the hell? This awesome Rockman collection thing. 25,000 yen? So like $200, more or less. And it looks like it comes with some cool stuff in it. That would be a great gift for a Rockman fan out there. And what else we got? This one game I wanted to take a quick look at for 4,500, so not cheap. But here it's called Bumpy Trot. Kind of a wacky title. In the US, it was called Steambot Chronicles. Game I picked up on a whim way back in the day. Bought it used for like $10 and had some fun with it. It wasn't bad. One of the Bleach games, I don't know which one, there's like a million of them, 500 yen. They're all super cheap. Those games sold like hotcakes when they were released. I've played a few of them. They're not bad. Usually they're just decent action titles, but nothing that's going to knock your socks off per se. What the hell am I doing? Am I lingering? It looks like I'm just lingering here. A bunch of box sets at the top of the shelf. That's all well and good. As well as whatever the hell all this stuff is down at the bottom of the shelf. Isn't that nice? And yeah, this is actually cool. A Dragon Quest slime controller, which I've never played with. I doubt I would want to. 3,100 for Bloody Roar 4, which by Hudson Soft. Good stuff. Bloody Roar games, always fun. And I think, actually, my good buddy Eric voiced a character for that one. Can't quite recall. Oh my god, what happened? Where are we? Through the magic of editing, we're in Retro Game Camp. In one of their more cramped aisles, so this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable for me. A little inconvenient. Garodin Break Blow for 980, so that's cheap on that one. The Garodin games are pretty cool. Break Blow, and then there's this. The second one is better. It's called Fist or Twist. But they're 3D fighting games, and they're pretty fun. You kind of like target your opponent's body parts in it and everything. We've got some Neo Geo stuff here, like Mark of the Wolves, like I think the Real Bout collection, and the original Fatal Fury collection that comes with the original 4 Fatal Fury games. So that's nice. When all this stuff was released like brand new, like however long ago it was, I picked all that stuff up new because I was a Neo Geo fan back in the day. Still am, I have to say, but more so back then. Eco, and it's 50% off, so it's like you're gonna pay what, like seven something, so 50% off, or was that 2 something? I'm going blind. Either way, it's cheap as hell, so that's nice. You can just dig through here and just buy the stuff that's half off. We got some Guilty Gear games, including Guilty Gear XX, which is awesome. And there's some other ones here, because there's also Guilty Gear Isuka, I think, and whatever else. Another Guilty Gear game, Guilty Gear XX. Is it like Accent Core or something like that? There's so many Guilty Gears on the PS2. So many revisions. I don't know what the hell all of that is. But they also had Isuka, which is fun. There's a little kind of like beat 'em up gameplay in it. And another Kinnikuman game. I think this was one that was released in the US, and I just think it was called like, I think it was just called Ultimate Muscle. And they're fun enough. They're not really wrestling games per se. And Crazy Taxi. All right. I can't do the Crazy Taxi guy voice too much. It really hurts your throat. Hey, come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi. And that really, that's harsh on the voice. It's not even a good impression. I don't know why I keep doing it. Some King of Fighters stuff, so many. There's King of Fighters 2003, King of Fighters 2000, 2001, 2002. All the King of Fighters. And all the stars are out. When it comes to them King of Fighters games. Yeah, just so many Neo Geo ports to the PS2, and they're mostly pretty good. Here we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. Another pretty fun game by Capcom. Kind of an action beat 'em up, kind of an oddball game that I remember reading about back in the day in like PSM or something, and seeing that it was going to get an English version that just was canceled for whatever reason. And then JoJo... this one is, what is this one? It's 980 yen. It's the Phantom something or other. I can't quite recall. But this one as well, I think, is like more of a beat 'em up or something. That one's not as good. Golden Wind is better. Although the All-Star Battle game is, the most recent one. That's pretty good. Third Strike for 1180. So with the exchange rate, that's like $8, I think. That's not bad for some Third Strike, although you can play Third Strike on a lot of other stuff now. The Street Fighter Zero Collection, can't go wrong with it, and EX3 for a pretty cheap, even though I prefer the original EX plus Alpha. Not the biggest fan of EX3. I don't know why, I can't put my finger on it, but that's just the way it is. And we've got this, that, and the other thing, including Densha Dego 3, Live Your Dream of driving a train here in Japan, and we also have Tenchu Kurenai, which I believe was called Deadly Shadows in North America. I was at one point a massive fan of the Tenchu series. Never could get enough of those games. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it. PS2 games. Always fun to hunt around Akihabara. So hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one. Goodbye.